All right, we are now recording, and give me just a sec so I can share my screen. And can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to today's brown bag lunch presentation. Thank you so much for joining us today on this holiday, and I hope you guys are staying dry and warm because it is very frustrating that the sun's not coming out. So, hope everyone's staying dry. But welcome in. And we're going to begin with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that Cal Poly Humboldt is located on the unceded lands of the Wiyot people. Arcata, known as Gudini, meaning over in the woods or among the redwoods. We honor them and all neighboring tribes by our ongoing commitments to developing trusting, reciprocal, and long-lasting partnerships. Next slide. And here at OLLI, we believe that learning should never end. OLLI is a program that creates opportunities for academic engagement, civic involvement, and personal growth and fun. By offering a myriad of classes and experiences for a vibrant community of learners aged 50 and better, OLLI delivers learning for a lifetime. And there's some wonderful benefits to being an OLLI member. So just a description of our program if you're not a member already. Its membership program runs from July 1st through June 30th annually, and membership is $35 a year. OLLI classes are designed for lifelong learners, 50 and better, and the classes are open to everyone 18 and above. It's just that our programming is designed for learners 50 and better. And then non-members pay an additional charge and are enrolled as space allows. But if we go to this next page, there is a more complete list of the OLLI benefits. So if you are an OLLI member, you get lower class fees and first priority registration. You also get a Cal Poly email account, which gives you full access to the professional version of Zoom. You could also use that email account for a whole list of different kinds of software that the university provides. OLLI members get a discount on the Jack Pass. They get eligibility for course scholarships. They get student discounts at local businesses. They could participate in the OLLI Special Interest Group, which there's one happening tonight. It's the OLLI Special Interest Group Live and Local Eureka Symphony. That's one that we do, I think it's like the first Monday or third Monday every month. And then you also get a library card access. So when you sign up to be an OLLI member, you get a ID card included with your membership, and that's what you would use to also get discounts to the local businesses. And last but not least, you also, as an OLLI member, get gym and recreation center access with a small fee.
You know what? You need to add one to that. That is, you get an invitation to each and every OLLI brown bag lunch.
That's true. That's true.
So you need to add one.
Yeah.
I'll put that on my
Last but
list.
not least.
Thank you. I'll add that too. Another thing that we at OLLI do is our Let's Connect meetings.
Oh,
So this is a free weekly chat meeting that happens every Friday, 10 to 11 a.m., headed by Tracy Barnes Priestley. These weekly sessions, which began early in the pandemic as a response to COVID-19, have grown to become a regular gathering of friendly and interesting people. This hour of,
I'm one of them.
yeah, what was your topic last week?
Well, I wasn't on last week, but it's all kinds of things.
Yeah, every week there's a
And we
different
usually
question.
don't stick to topics anyway. It ends up going off the rails,
Yeah,
whatever people want to talk about, but it's good. Jenny's in it
exactly.
too.
Exactly. It's a way for just to hang out. It's an OLLI hangout session. Every week you get a question, and honestly, you just get to kind of talk and commune with different OLLI members. It's a really good program. So
Yes.
if you're interested, check it out. It's Humboldt or humboldt.edu/OLLI/Let's Connect. Like I mentioned at the beginning, all of our brown bag presentations are recorded. So if you missed one, check out our archive on the OLLI website. But if you want to get notifications, you can actually subscribe to our YouTube channel at OLLI, humboldt.edu/OLLI. And that's our handle, youtube.com/@OLLI Humboldt. And if you have any questions about OLLI, our programs, our classes, anything like that, give us a call. It's at 707-826-5880. We do check our voicemails. And if you want to email us at olli@humboldt.edu. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jane, who is going to introduce our speaker this week. Jane?
Well, welcome everyone. It's delightful to see you here. If we're lucky, we'll have intermittent periods of sunshine alongside the rain. We've had a few already. I'm happy to welcome Ben Mattio, who's Senior Program Manager for the Redwood Coast Energy Authority. He got his start in the field of energy working for the Green Campus Program and Campus Center for Appropriate Technology at Cal Poly Humboldt. He has since worked for Redwood Coast Energy Authority, where his roles have included being an energy technician specialist and now manages energy efficiency and electrification programs. Trained as a Building Performance Institute building analyst and home energy rating system rater, he has local experience doing residential and commercial energy audits. Ben, it's all yours.
All right. Yes, thank you for the intro. I'll go ahead and start a screen share here. You guys could let me know when you can see it.
And Ben, I think you want to tell people to put their questions in the chat to address at the end, right?
Yes, that's correct. It'd be best to throw your questions in the chat, and I am trying my best to save time at the end, so we'll have plenty of time to go over your questions. Yeah. All right. Are you guys able to see my intro slide at this point?
No.
Not yet.
Hmm.
There we go.
How's that?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. All right. So, coming to you today from Redwood Coast Energy Authority, and I've been working here for, gosh, coming on 20 years, if you can believe that. So we've been around in the community here a long time. So I'll just dive right into who we are. And we're going to have three sections today. So the first is kind of an intro about RCA, our organization, and what we do. The next section of slides will be about some strategies and ways to help you reduce your energy bill. And then the third section is going to be on energy resilience and essentially what you can do to prepare for when the power goes out. All right, diving right in. So, RCEA, we are a local government agency in the form of a joint powers authority. Our members include Blue Lake Rancheria, the Yurok Tribe, Humboldt County, and all the incorporated cities of Humboldt County. Our mission is to develop and implement sustainable energy initiatives that reduce energy demand, increase energy efficiency, and advance the use of clean, efficient, and renewable resources available in the region. These are a couple of our team members here on the screen. All right, so we are your local electricity provider. Most folks in Humboldt, about 90% of them, get their electricity from RCEA. So we essentially go out there and we purchase electricity for the community. And some of the things that we focus on are trying to supply clean, affordable energy. We have a big focus on building local resiliency. We also run lots of programs. We're going to talk about several of those today. Those include rebates and support for energy projects. And of course, we keep your energy dollars local. So the way this works is we have a community advisory committee that gives us input, and we have a board of directors that oversees the organization. Also wanted to note that we're self-funded, through revenues, so we don't receive any tax dollars. So you'll hear the terms community choice energy and community choice aggregator, and really they're the same thing. So the official state language for this is we're a community choice aggregator. Here locally, we like to use the term community choice energy provider because it's a little more accessible and at least has the word energy in it. So it's our preferred term, but really they're the same thing. So we go out there and we procure electricity for our customers on the power market, and we also build electric supply for our customers. So customers, the way that the CCAs are set up by the state is customers are automatically enrolled to the CCA. And so, you know, when you signed up for your PG&E account, you were automatically enrolled into RCA services. And RCA's repower brings a lower cost electricity, and it's all on one bill. So you're going to see both PG&E on your bill, and you're going to see RCEA on your bill. And we like to note to folks that we're not like an additional charge or a duplicate charge on your bill. There is going to be a section where it's going to show billing by RCA, but there's another section of the bill where it shows the PG&E discount that you're receiving for being an RCA customer. And our team would be happy to walk you through the bill specifics. We get lots of questions every day on exactly how does this work? And I'm trying to make sense of my bill. And that's something you can always call us, and we're happy to walk you through that. PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric Company, they still handle all the transmission and distribution of electricity. So they maintain the power lines and make sure that that electricity makes it to your home. So we do provide a 100% renewable and carbon-free offering, which we call our Repower Plus. So if anyone's interested in that, for my household, it's only like an extra $5 or $7 a month to be able to have 100% renewable energy procured for my home. So that's something that we do in our household. Humboldt County's renewable energy future. So here's some of the things we're working on. We're working on buying renewable energy from lots of different generators. We have a goal of being 100% renewable energy by 2030. And a lot of that's going to include wind, solar, hydropower, and biomass. Renewable energy, of course, reduces greenhouse gas emissions. That's a real big focus for us here. Basically, all of our work is aimed at trying to reduce emissions associated with energy use. And we collaborate with partners and other entities to create new sources of energy and also build local resiliency here in Humboldt. Of course, we always try to keep our rates competitive with PG&E. So here at RCA, we do a lot. I'm always amazed at how many different things we participate in. So we're going to go through a few slides here of some of the fun and exciting things we're doing, and you know, then we'll dive into more about reducing your bill. So at the airport here locally, we led a project for the Redwood Coast Airport microgrid. And that's been up and running for about 1.5 years. And that serves to power the airport, the Coast Guard, and of course the animal shelter when the power goes out. So that was one of the first microgrids in partnership with PG&E that served multiple customers. So we were happy to partner with PG&E and others to pull that together. You'll notice a whole field of solar panels out there next to the airport, and there's also a whole row of Tesla batteries as well. And that is able to, you know, generate electricity that can feed into the grid. But then when there is a power down situation, the airport, Coast Guard, and the animal shelter can still operate even in a power down situation. Some projects we've been working on, we've been trying to, achieve a clean power portfolio, and we're looking at building some local solar capacity. So our Foster project was about a 7 megawatt solar project with 2.5 megawatts of storage. That came online in Arcata in 2025. We've got the North Coast Highway Solar. That's a 2 megawatt project that's coming online next year. We've got local energy storage solicitation, so we're out there looking for more energy storage on the market. We also have a Sandrini 100 megawatt solar project that came online late in 2024, and a Sandrini 92 megawatt battery storage project that also is coming on later this year. In addition to that, we've got some long-term duration storage and geothermal projects under development, and that's we're working in partnership with some other CCAs and through CC Power for that. And of course, we still have our existing Humboldt sawmill biomass plant in Scotia and a Cove Hydro system in Shasta. Some more things we're working on throughout the county. We are working with fire stations on a partner project. There was a $3 million grant award for solar and battery storage. So we're working with 16 different remote fire stations. These are often the ones further out in the hills and in the rural areas of the county. And so we're working with them to meet the requirements of that grant and to get those systems installed. We're also working with a tribal energy resilience and sovereignty project. And this project received state funding to build 3 microgrids. So that's still, in development mode, and we're working with them as an administrator to get those projects built and to get that funding secured. We're also working with public agencies and school assistants. So we've been doing this since the start of RCA, and this is through numerous different grants over the years. I believe the one that's wrapping up right now is the CalShape projects, and that received funding for efficiency upgrades. We also support with project management, technical assistance, and general grant support so that these smaller agencies can actually access and execute the grants that they're applying for. We have a EV charging network. So this is our charging stations that we call RevNet. So there's a total of 17 different locations and 56 ports throughout the county. And so you can come to our website if you're interested in seeing where those are. We've got a page on that'll show you where you can plug in and charge your EVs. We're also working with medium duty and heavy duty zero emission vehicle readiness. And for this one, we basically developed a blueprint for Humboldt, Trinity, and Del Norte, and that was recently approved by the CEC, which is the California Energy Commission. Sorry, I'll try not to use too many acronyms, try to spell them out when I see them. And so this is going to allow the agency to receive funding that it wasn't otherwise qualified for. Another new and exciting program, this is the one that I'm directly most involved with, is our Northern Rural Energy Network. So this was established by RCA in 2024, and it's really exciting. This is administering programs for several counties. You'll see on this little map here, it includes Humboldt County, Mendocino, Lake County, and about 11 counties in the Sierra District as well. So our NREN program is funded by the California Public Utilities Commission, and that's bringing in about $9.5 million to Humboldt County through 2027. And our partners for this include Sierra Business Council, Lake Area Planning Council, and Mendocino County of Governments. So we are in ramp up mode. We have some of our programs already launched, but we have a whole bunch of other programs that are still in development, and those will be launching this year and into next year. So there's a lot happening in this space, and it's a lot of dollars that we've secured from the California Public Utilities Commission to bring back to these communities that are paying into those services. So some of those NREN programs have already launched, and on the residential side, that includes we are now offering a no-cost energy assessment. For these, we're doing them over the phone. The assessment will basically ask you lots of questions about the way you use energy in your home and some of the features of your home. And from that, we'll be able to develop a customized report with specific recommendations on ways that you can save energy in your home, actions you can take, ways potentially to do upgrades or to shift your energy use. So that is a no-cost service you can sign up for. We're also offering a free energy efficiency kit, and that can include some do-it-yourself type items, which may include things like LED light bulbs, some low-flow shower heads. We've got, smart strips. We've got some energy tip booklets in there. We've even got like some weather stripping. It's kind of a mix of some do-it-yourself type items that you can install and start saving energy right away. So we can send you one of those for free. There's a link for that on our website, and let's see if I can get it to show up. Ah, there it is. This is directly from our website. If to navigate here, you could go from our homepage, and if you hover over the programs and rebates under residential programs here, you'll see all our current offerings. So I'll just click on the no cost efficiency kit one, and you can see this is tells you a little bit of info, and then of course we've got an online application here as well that you can select. And if the online applications don't work for you, you're also welcome to call us and we can send you a paper application as well. Going back to that main page, you can also see some info about the home energy assessment that I was speaking about. And to schedule one of these, there's a link here to a customer interest form. And that basically just asks your contact information and what you're interested in. And we'll get back to you about scheduling that no-cost assessment. All right. So in addition to that, we can support you with advice on energy projects. So we've got some local experts here that have been doing energy efficiency work for decades. So if you're, embarking on an energy project or you're just not sure where to start, you can always give us a call and we can try to advise on different energy projects. Of course, we're here to support folks with their electric rate schedules and time of use billing, things like that, or give us a call. We also last year launched an induction cooktop lending program. I'm going to jump to that page now. And for this one, if you're interested in induction cooking, basically induction is a more efficient electric stovetop that cooks using electromagnetism. So it transfers the energy directly to your pot or pan and is therefore more efficient because it doesn't have to heat up a burner first. It essentially heats the pan directly, and your pan is then what's heating your food. It's pretty neat. And if you wanted to try one out, we loan them a little countertop version, and we'll loan those out for free. So there's some information on here about the positives about induction cooktops And if you'd like to borrow one of these, we can check one out too for 2 weeks, and you can try it in your own home and see if you like it. You'll notice that it heats up food a lot faster than electric resistance heating. A lot of folks claim it's even faster at boiling water than a gas cooktop. And of course, there's no emission byproducts coming into your home. So, oftentimes with a gas appliance can, bring some of those gas emissions into your home, especially if you're not running an exhaust fan. But there's a reminder, always run your exhaust fan. If you're cooking on the stove or the oven and you're using gas, you got to make sure that exhaust fan's going to get those emissions out of the home. So yeah, you can sign up for that by just clicking here and filling out a request. And if you have any questions with our services, that interest form or just giving us a call is the way to plug in and get through to us. We've also got some residential rebates that we just launched. So this includes all kinds of stuff. We've got heat pump space heating. So this could be what's frequently called a mini split system, or it can also be a ducted heat pump system. We've also got rebates for heat pump water heaters, induction cooktops, and induction ranges. We have rebates, efficient clothes washers and dryers, room air conditioners and cleaners, kitchen equipment. I'm going to go ahead and click on this link to our rebate catalog. Whoop, what happened there? Nope, there it goes. Okay, so this is our page that talks about the rebate catalog, and it kind of gives you an overview of what's available and how to apply. And then to get started, you just click on the rebate catalog here, and this is where it's going to show you more information and details and access to those applications. If you're wondering, like, where are the applications? The application links are inside the catalog here. So if we scroll down, it's going to show you, how to apply, and it's going to, show you the terms and conditions, things like that. But if we scroll down further, it'll bring us to the actual rebate awards. So here's for our heat pump space heaters. You can see these are awarded per ton. So, a common heat pump size might be a 3-ton system. So for a 3-ton system, you would be multiplying these amounts times 3. And in here are all the specifications and requirements that need to be met. And you'll see for heat pumps, the more efficient it is, or the higher SEER rating, the higher your rebate's going to be. And we're happy to answer any questions that you or your contractor have about these rebates. Just give us a call and we can make sure that the equipment that you're buying is going to qualify. Also, we've got heat pump water heater rebates. Those are set to either 600, or if you're replacing a natural gas unit, those are at 700. And again, the specifications are listed out here. We're happy to talk to you in detail about those. We've got some air conditioning, air cleaners, and even some home recovery ventilation systems with rebates for those. And if we keep going, we've got some dishwasher, refrigerator type rebates here as well. And then here's the induction cooking and electric range cooking. And you'll notice throughout that often our rebates are higher when you're replacing natural gas. The idea there is really trying to reduce the emissions, right? So by taking out a natural gas burning appliance and swapping it with electric is a really good way to reduce emissions. So we're offering higher rebate amounts for that. Laundry, washer and dryer type rebates as well. So that's it on the catalog. Again, if you have questions, give us a call. We're happy to run you through, answer your questions. Transportation rebates. We just launched some EV rebates. I can open that page up for you here. This literally just launched last week, so this is pretty exciting. We're offering customers a $2,000 rebate for the purchase of a new or used electric vehicle. I should note that since these EV rebates are funded by RCEA, you will need to be an RCA customer to receive these EV rebates. And of course, there's some fine print. So on this page, you can click through and learn about the eligibility here. And it has to be less than 8 years old and less than 75,000 miles on it. And I believe you have to have purchased it within 180 days from your submission, things like that. So there's the application link here below, and our team is again welcomes your calls to be able to answer questions that you have about EV rebates. I should note that these are for pure battery electric vehicles, so the plug-in hybrids or hybrids are not eligible for this one specifically. Okay, we've also got in development some EV charging rebates, so you may see that soon on our site. So we hope to have those this year as well. For the commercial programs, we are working with local businesses to do no-cost energy assessments. That's really the best way to get started with efficiency work is to have us do that assessment. So for commercial businesses, we are coming out on site and we'll do a full walkthrough, look at all your equipment, talk to you about, your high energy uses and where you can save. And then we'll put together a report that's customized showing, steps you can take to make upgrades, things you can do to reduce your bill. We'll also let you know about any financing that's available for upgrades, tax credits, incentives. Our team really stays plugged in about all the resources that are out there. So we really try to, be that kind of clearinghouse, if you will, of information. So even if it's not our rebate, we can line you up with the people that have a rebate or financing, whatever matches your project. And we've also got some EV and charging resources on the website for commercial as well. So to get started with these commercial services, business managers, business owners can just go to our website and fill out this customer interest form. Let us know you're interested in a assessment, and we will get you scheduled and come out and do that no-cost assessment for you. All right, before I jump into the next section, I do see some questions here in the chat. Okay, from an economic perspective, why should I switch from gas to electric appliances in my home? I replaced my gas water heater with a heat pump and have the comfort heat and gas stove to replace. I've seen my utility bill increase due to the switch. Why should I proceed to replace the other gas appliances? So there's no guarantee that your bill is going to go down when you switch from gas to electric. Gas is still relatively cheap compared to electric charges here in California. So we often encourage folks to pair efficiency upgrades so for instance, if you're pulling out a furnace and you're replacing it with a heat pump system, it's really important to do some efficiency work at the same time. Make sure you're air sealing and insulating the home. If you weren't able to do any efficiency upgrades and you just switched from gas to a heat pump, you may actually see some increases on your bill. And as to the question is why, I think that's kind of a personal question in terms of, what you're after. If you're looking at a way to reduce emissions or lower your carbon footprint, electrification is a great way to do that. If you're just purely looking at cost savings, you're going to want to talk with one of our energy advisors to make sure that the efficiency work is being done alongside that electrification to really help lower the bill. How does a biomass energy source reduce carbon footprint? That's a good question. for this topic, I'm not the person at RCA to answer this question, so I think I'll defer that. That's something that our procurement team would be able to kind of look at and analyze for you. Where are the Arcata new projects? The solar projects are out in the Bottoms area. You may see them if you take, oh gosh, what is the name of the farm road that goes out into the Bottoms? That's where the solar and storage projects are. How are federal funding cuts likely to affect these programs? So our programs aren't funded by federal. Some of the grants that we're supporting tribes and schools with are federally funded, so that is a concern, and we're obviously, keeping track of that. And there's a lot of developments happening, and things are a little unknown on that front. But in terms of our program funding and the services that I described, those are funded either by the California Public Utilities Commission, which doesn't get federal funding, or funded by local RCEA monies. So really the only projects that are impacted are where we're supporting schools and tribes with grant funding projects. I believe those are the ones that are potentially being impacted. What's the best way to add attic insulation and select a contractor to install it? That's a great question. So, that's something that one of our energy advisors would be happy to talk to you about, or we can speak to you about during an energy assessment. There's different options for doing insulation. It really depends on, if you have an accessible attic, they can often do, either blown cellulose or blown fiberglass or even rolled fiberglass. But our technicians and advisors would be able to advise you on some of the important steps, like making sure that, before you throw insulation down, that you're actually air sealing every single last little nook and cranny between the inside of the home and that attic space. If you don't have an attic that's accessible, the insulation work gets a lot more challenging. So, but yeah, specifically for your home, I would say give us a call and, we can talk in more depth. Plug-in hybrids, plug-in hybrids are not going to qualify for our current EV rebates. Those are battery-only vehicle rebates. PG&E is offering a used EV and plug-in rebate. I was able to actually access those dollars last year, and I was able to get $1,000 rebate towards a used plug-in vehicle. So there are, of course, a specific list of vehicles that do qualify. But that's something you could look into if you're going for a plug-in hybrid, is check out pgne.com for their used EV rebate. Are the recreation facilities at service districts eligible for lighting upgrades? Service districts. I don't see why they wouldn't be. So we can come out and look for, we can do an assessment of the service district lighting, and, we can help line you up with programs that are providing incentives or financing. There's still some on-bill financing available from PG&E at 0% interest, which is a great thing as well. So yeah, I would say, have them give us a call and set up a no-cost assessment. I have the same issue as K sticker shock, and I have invested thousands in new Energy Star appliance, kitchen and laundry lighting, and heat pump, but despite supposedly sold as more efficient, feeling like I can't afford to run them. I see. Again, I would say, call. It's hard to make general statements. It'd be best to have energy assessment done from us so we can ask you more questions about the way you use energy in your home and be able to see, has the bill gone up, and was that due to actual increases in energy use, or was that due to energy rate increases? We've actually seen lots of energy rate increases over the last year and a half, and so everyone's bill has gone up, even if you were using the same amount of electricity, or maybe you're even using slightly less, you may still have a larger bill from the bill rate increases that have occurred. Can I determine when to charge in my plug-in hybrid? So that's going to depend on the rate schedule you're on, and one of our energy advisors here would be able to answer you at what time of day, but the first thing would be to get familiar with the rate schedule that you have. I'm going to jump into the next slide deck, and I see there's a couple more questions, but I'll save time for those at the end. So this next section is on reducing your bill, and we've got some steps you can take here and ways to start looking at your bill. So everyone used to be on a tiered billing system, and the idea with that was that the more energy you used, that you went into a higher rate, and it tried to encourage energy conservation. The state is trying to move everyone to more of a time of use, which is still, most folks are on a time of use, but I believe right now you can still opt into the tiered billing. With the time of use, it's more accurate, meaning electricity widely varies in price depending on the time of day and also the month of the year. So we're trying to move towards a system, or the state's trying to move towards a system that more accurately bills customers, meaning that the bill they're getting represents the cost of the energy at the time they were using the energy, because there's a vast increases and decreases in the cost depending on what hour of the day and month of the year that you're using that electricity. Peak hours, depending on your rate schedule, are often between 4 and 9 p.m., or for some rate schedules, it's 5 and 9 p.m. So those peak hours are when you're going to get billed higher. And the reason for that is electricity is just way more expensive during those hours. And it's more expensive because of demand. Basically, everybody is coming home from work and they're turning on the TV, they're turning on the oven, they've got their computer going. Essentially, when folks are coming home from work, they're, turning on the lights and cooking dinner and doing all the things that take electricity. And since everyone's doing it at the same time, it really spikes demand, and they're having to turn on additional power plants and import some power, and the cost really goes up for those hours. There's some minimum delivery charges, so that's just something you can't escape. That's if you're plugged into the PG&E's grid, you're going to be paying that minimum charge. And also note there are some seasonal variances in pricing as well. So prices normally go up during the summer, so that's typically from June 1st to September 30th. That's their summer season. And that, again, is just when there's more demand on the grid. Of course, we don't have a lot of air conditioning here in Humboldt, but in the counties of California that do, they really see, big increases in energy use during those summer months. So it's all about the higher demand on the grid. So to review your energy use, the best way to do this is to sign up for an online account if you haven't already at pgne.com. And once you're there, you can log in, and there's a ton of good information on there. There's way more information than you're going to be able to get from a paper bill that's mailed to you. So you're going to be able to see graphs of your energy use. You can see a daily graph of your energy use. You can see an annual graph of your electric use, and you can also see graphs of your gas use. That's going to help you be able to pinpoint, what hours of the day am I using energy the most? What months of the year am I using energy the most? It's going to give you a lot of insight into your bill and your energy use that you're simply not going to get from the paper bill that's mailed to you. So this is a really, a really good thing to do to really start understanding your use. So for instance, you'll be able to see, during those peak hours, let's say your peak hours are from 4 to 9, you'll be able to look at that graph and say like, oh man, yeah, my demand, my energy use really went up during that 4 to 9, and I'm getting billed more during those hours. And it really gets you thinking like, hey, did I really need to run the dishwasher between 4 and 9? Or could I have waited till after 9 or done that earlier in the day? If you have an electric dryer, do you really need to run that between 4 and 9 p.m.? Because you're going to save money if you can shift that usage to those off-peak times. And of course, the more you learn about your past usage really empowers you to make some changes and really understand, how you're using energy. So we've got some local programs here as well. So you guys may have heard Redwood Community Action Agency. They've been around a long, long time. They've got their home energy assistance program. The way to sign up for them is to give them a call, and they take calls Monday between 9 and 12. And sometimes their phones get flooded. You got to just keep trying. You just got to call back and call back until you can get through. But they have lots of services that they can offer. They do weatherization services. They can help with one-time payments on your bill if your bill's stacking up more than you can afford. They may be able to help you with that. They have services for low and moderate income households that can include, coming out to your coming out to your home and testing your water heater and furnace. They can do some minor installs of things like LED bulbs and shower heads. They can even sometimes help with broken windows and things. Their funding kind of changes from year to year, so you'll have to call them to get the specifics on what they're currently offering. And they're a great resource, so give them a call. So PG&E has some financial aid resources that are funded through the California Public Utilities Commission. So some of these programs you may have heard of before, the CARE program, that's California Alternative Rate for Energy. This one is, I'm going to go ahead and click on this one because this one's a pretty important one. This literally, if you qualify, it literally just shaves down your bill. So this one's a no-brainer. If you think you qualify, you got to at least try to sign up for this. So this is going to just knock 20% off your bill if you qualify. So this is a really good thing to do. And this page will tell you, how you can qualify. Basically, they're going to give you a list of programs. Like if you qualify, or sorry, if you're currently enrolled in any of these public assistance programs, you may qualify. If you're not enrolled in any of these programs, they're going to give you some income guidelines here, and it'll show you, if you have this many people in your household, let's say you have 3 in your household, your household income needs to be below $51,640. So again, even if you're close to qualifying or you're not sure, give them a call because this one's a no-brainer. It just shaves down your bill. So another great one here is the FARA program, and this one is for what they consider like a moderate income family. And again, there's going to be some guidelines here on qualifications, and it is income based. So these ones are a little bit higher. So even if you didn't qualify for CARE, you might qualify for FARA because it allows for a slightly higher income. This one doesn't shave the bill quite as much. I believe it's closer to, what is it, an 18% discount on the electric side of the bill. So that's still pretty good. And again, it's just a straight off the top of the electric part of your bill. So if you think you may qualify for this, you got to check this one out too. Medical baseline allowance. If someone in your home uses medical equipment that uses electricity, you may qualify for medical baseline allowance. And what that does is it essentially increases your minimum charge portion of your bill. So as you use more electricity, you're charged at a higher rate. So what this does is it expands your baseline allowance, meaning you can use more electricity at that lower rate before you move into that next tier. So this could be as simple as like someone in your home uses a CPAP, or maybe someone has an oxygen machine. There's a long list of equipment that can qualify for this. So this is another great way to just shave some money off the bill if you have that type of equipment. The LIHEAP program, this is through Redwood Community Action Agency, so I just spoke to their services. The REACH program, this one, if you're getting behind on the bill, they have a program at PG&E here that will help you get back on track, basically. And it's a way, to get help before you're shut off, right? So if you're starting to get some late notices or a disconnect notice, give these folks a call, and they're going to help you out and basically offer you some financial assistance. And they'll talk through the qualifications to see if you're eligible. But it's a great resource, excuse me, for folks that are starting to fall behind on the bill. Likewise with the AMP program, that is Arrearage Management Plan. Same similar idea. It's assistance with the bill for low income and medical baseline folks. And for this one, let me click on the AMP program here. This one actually, if you do qualify, can just give you some debt forgiveness. So again, if you're falling behind and you qualify, you may be eligible to have some of your debt forgiven, which is obviously great if you qualify. So if you're in that boat, check that out as well. Okay, so demand response. So for folks that are interested in this one, the idea here is there's times when the state's infrastructure grid is severely impacted. This will often happen during summer months where air conditioning demand is high, maybe not in Humboldt, but in other counties they're running their AC, and there's a big demand on the grid. And they will actually send a signal to customers to reduce their energy use. And there's programs out there now that will actually offer incentives for you to reduce your energy use when called upon. And there's different ways that can be done. In a commercial facility, they get pretty fancy with like electronic controls that can automatically dim lights or other things. But for residents, sometimes it's as simple as like they'll send you an email or a text like, hey, we're in a demand response situation. If there's anything you can do to reduce your energy use, they'll give you a credit. So that's something that folks can look into. And of course, energy conservation is really important. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't mention that, efficiency and conservation are really important ways to reduce your bill as well. So if you don't have LED lights in every socket of your home, those are a great, simple way to save energy. They're probably the easiest way to make a significant reduction in your bill. So those are available pretty much everywhere now. They last, way, way longer, and they use a lot less energy than the old incandescent style, and they are more efficient than the compact fluorescents as well. Of course, using the power of the sun, maybe that's hanging some clothes out on a sunny day instead of using your dryer. Could be as simple as just opening the curtains and turning off some lights in the home during the middle of the day. Shifting energy use to the middle of the day. So now that the state has a lot of solar online, the greenest energy is now midday. So if you're thinking to yourself, what's the least emission related energy I could be using, that's actually midday energy now, because when the sun's shining, from like 11 to 3 or in that range, that's when your energy is the greenest or cleanest. So just shifting to that time of day is a good thing as well. Of course, cooking efficiently, we talked about induction and how that could save, trying to run full loads when you're doing the washing machine or the dishwasher. Check your water heater. If you go to the furthest faucet from your water heater, should only be 120 degrees. If you're seeing like 130, 140 degrees, that's an opportunity to turn down that water heater, save on the bill. Sealing and insulated. Whoops, let me jump back. Sorry. Our energy advisors can talk to you on ways to seal and insulate your home. There's little things you can do, but you can also go as far as calling a performance contractor and doing the works, and really, doing professional air sealing can be pretty involved. But there's also do-it-yourself options that you can do. So give us a call with that. And some of those demand response programs can help as well. So this is my spot where I try to encourage you to take action. So sign up for programs, right? So we talked about several programs here today. RCA's got those no-cost energy assessments and efficiency kits. PG&E's got the bill discount programs. RCA's got the rebate catalog. So between all of those, we're happy to talk to you more and guide you on some of those services. Try your best to shift some of those electric loads to off-peak times. The dishwasher, the clothes dryer, anything you can do before or after those peak times is great. Conserving energy, we've got tips booklets here that we can talk to you and share with you. If you've got specific questions, that's where you'll want to, call one of our energy advisors or ask for an energy assessment. And if you're ready to do upgrades, we can talk about that as well. So if you're like, hey, I'm wanting to invest, I'm ready to invest, and I just need to know, where to put my money or what specifically makes sense for my home, talk to us and we'll probably want to do an assessment to be able to answer those questions for you. Okay. Let's see. So I do see quite a few questions here. Let's see. Can HEAP test for leaks in HVAC system to see if there is heat escaping into the attic? I wouldn't be able to answer for their program, the LIHEAP program. You would need to contact them. So to test the duct system, there's a test called a duct pressure test. And so I believe that's probably what you're referring to there. I'm not sure if they're offering that. You would need to call Redwood Community Action Agency. They're the ones that run the LIHEAP program. Applied for medical baseline allowance. We have a CPAP use and we're denied. Oh, bummer. That's interesting. Yeah, I had been told that the CPAP qualified. They must have changed something in their program. That's good to know. Thank you for that update. The energy assessments that RCA does are currently being done over the phone. We do expect to have in-home assessments launched later this year. So if you're more interested in an in-home assessment where we come out to your house, those services should be live later in the year. Sustainable choice for gas. Natural gas is kind of natural gas. I don't know of a sustainable offering that's necessarily better for that. There's a lot of, environmental impacts from getting natural gas to your home and then burning it in your home. So I don't have a sustainable choice to offer you for that one. Okay. So for our next section here, we're going to talk about energy resilience. And you might be asking, what is that? Energy resilience is about your ability to maintain some of your daily functions when the electric grid or natural gas service is down. So the one that folks talk about and plan for the most is when the electricity is out. So really, this really starts with being prepared and making a plan. So identifying the critical electric needs in your home is really that first step. And so, thinking about like how, if the electricity's out and so let's say my forced air furnace needs electricity, then my furnace is going to be working. Do I have a backup source of heat? Or do I have a bunch of blankets? How am I going to keep warm when the power's out? And thinking through a plan for that. If you have medically vulnerable people in your home, you're going to want to do even more, especially if they're using equipment that requires electricity. So let's say you've got somebody on an oxygen machine that uses electricity. You're going to want to make a plan for what you're going to do when the power goes out, because obviously that's going to be really critical for that individual. There are resources. So signing up for PG&E's vulnerable customer status. They can support with things like notifications. They can also help align you with some services. The medical baseline program also is going to have information on what's available. And also there's a portable battery program available through Redwood Community Action Agency. So these are things you're going to want to do before the power goes out, right? Just planning and having this done ahead of time so that it's not a dire situation when the power does go out. So take these steps, now in preparation. And, making a plan. This is all energy resilience is all about planning ahead and putting some thought and time ahead of time so that when the power does go out, you've got some resources, you've got a plan of what you're doing. So for backup power, again, for the planning, things that I like to do, there's a couple simple things like keeping some gallons of water in the fridge and the freezer. That's going to help chill your food, right? So oftentimes folks are worried about, losing what's in the fridge or in the freezer when the power goes out. So by having a few gallons in the freezer, that's basically going to act as some ice packs when the power goes out. And same thing in the fridge, having some gallons of water. Once that water's chilled, it's going to help keep the fridge colder. And then, of course, try not to open the doors, especially on the freezer when the power does go out. Having several ways to charge your cell phone. So we all really rely on our cell phone these days for communication, and having that could be like a little power bank to charge your phone, even like a solar charger, or even just a vehicle charger that you can plug into your car to get your phone charged up. You're going to have multiple ways of charging your phone in preparation. You can consider having a portable or permanent battery backup or generator. So there's lots of different versions of these. There's small versions that can basically just run like a computer and a light. And then there's really big backup systems or generator systems that might be able to run a forced air furnace or potentially all of your home's electric needs if it's big enough. Some of these battery backups do get pretty spendy. So, before you just dive into, I want to be able to run everything that my house does normally when the power's out, you may want to really critical think about what are really the essential things that I need to run when the power's out. Because if you're trying to replace the electric grid with a battery, it it can get pretty expensive in terms of the size battery you're going to need to run an entire home. That can be many, many thousands of dollars. So you may just, pare that down and think about the key essentials. PG&E's got a generator and battery rebates program that they're running. So for folks that live in a high fire threat district, there's information on this page. And if you do qualify, they're going to help you purchase either a battery or a generator system. And similarly, they're offering folks a power transfer meter. And basically what this is it's a safe interconnect for your generator. So when the power goes out and you go and plug a portable generator into your electric panel, it's really critical that there's either a controller that automatically disconnects your home from the grid or you're manually disconnecting it from the grid. If you don't disconnect from the grid, what's happening is you're not just powering your house, you're now powering your home circuit, but then you're also sending power back on the electric grid, and that can actually electrocute the people that are trying to fix the power lines. So this is a really big safety thing. You got to make sure that you're disconnected from the electric grid anytime you're plugging in like a portable generator to your home. And this power transfer meter basically does that automatically. It has like a feature built in where when you're hooking up your generator, it's disconnecting you from the grid. If you've got solar and battery storage, that can be a great backup plan. Not everyone can afford this. This can get a little spendy to have both solar and battery. And, I should note that if you just have the intertied solar system on your home without battery backup, then that's not going to provide you electricity when the grid's down. The only way to use that electricity being generated on your rooftop would be to have a battery storage system installed. All right, so there's lots of resources on the PG&E site about planning for outages and safety. I was really surprised to see everything that's on there. So I'll just show you guys real quick. If you click on outages and safety, they've got a whole section here. I'll just start with the overview. Here you could report outages. Here's, things to stay safe. But the one that I found most useful was this preparedness and support section. So I'm going to click on that. And, there's information on, sign up for alerts, how to understand outages and backup power safety. And this outage resource section is actually quite helpful. Has everything that's going to talk you through planning ahead for an outage. So emergency planning, backup power resources, medical and accessibility support. They've got a ton of good information on here. So this is a really good resource to get you started thinking, and what do I need to be doing? Who do I call? How do I sign up for alerts? All that information's on here. So really recommend folks check out this page when they're starting their planning for power outages. Right. In addition to that, there's the Disability Disaster Accessibility and Resource Program. So we've got a phone number and website here for that, and that's more information for folks with disabilities. So there's also the Independent Living Center. So those are some local resources that can help folks with disabilities in terms of emergencies or outages. You'll want to look into community resource centers. So if you do need to go to one, find out where that is so you know where to go. Humboldt County Office of Emergency Services has a lot of good information. You can sign up for alerts. They can steer you towards the community resource centers. And if you really want to get involved and you're like, I want to do more for my community than just prepare my own household, go ahead and join the CERT team. So the Community Emergency Response Team has been here in Humboldt for many, many years, and it's a team of volunteers. They'll train you on safety and how to, support your community. It's a great resource, and they're an amazing team of folks that go into action during emergencies to support our community. So you can sign up for those services on humboldtcert.com. And we've got some more resources for you here. Of course, our web page is redwoodenergy.org. If you're really wanting to learn more about energy, PG&E does some classes on their, I can never say it, docebosas.com. Dosabosas. I don't know where they got that one, but it's a great page for their energy classes. And I've taken many classes over the years, and they refresh them every spring and every fall. They've got new classes going. The Switch is On is a great resource for electrification. If you're wanting information on, hey, I want to learn more about induction cooking or replacing my furnace with a heat pump, things like that, Switch is On is a great one for that. Center for Community Energy has a lot of resources, and of course, FEMA.gov for some general emergency planning. So that about wraps it up. I'm going to dive back into the chat here and try to see what other questions we've got. What's being done on geothermal? Is the PG&E battery rebate in addition to the federal tax credit? So for the second part of that, yes, the battery rebate is separate from the federal tax credit. Those federal tax credits may be in jeopardy. So that's something that you'll want to kind of, stay tuned for to see what's happening on that front. But the battery rebates are separate from that. On the geothermal side of things, I don't know that I could answer that. Our power procurement team might have a better answer for you. I do know there are geothermal plants throughout the state, but I'm not sure, if there's a lot of new development going on in that space. I just don't have that answer. We have a transfer switch and portable Honda generator, covers the basic electric needs, won't run the heater or water heater. We use a plug-in heater, which works just fine. Yeah, so that's a great backup plan. It sounds like you already figured out that your generator won't run the furnace, but you have a plan to run some space heaters, which is what I do at my house. I have a smaller generator, and it also wasn't big enough to run my furnace, but I can run a space heater and I can run my fridge on it. So my fridge won't, get too warm, and I'll have some heat at the same time. Okay.
The reason I asked about the geothermal was it was mentioned earlier in the presentation that there were new projects coming on. Way back when.
Yeah, that is a great question. I am not an expert in everything that RCA does. So I would have to get back to you on what specifically new projects are underway. Our power resources team is the one that works on those contracts, including geothermal contracts. So sorry, I don't have a better or more information on that one for you.
Are there any other questions? If not, this was incredibly informative. I am totally impressed. I'm going to want to watch this again. Perhaps if you like, you could make this presentation set of slides available to OLLI.
Sure, we can do that.
So if people are interested in them, they can contact either OLLI or me.
Okay.
Because this is so informative that it's like, we're going to have to go back and look at it again. So
No problem.
If you'll do that, send it to me, send it to OLLI, and anybody can contact either of us. My email is janepwoodward@aol.com. So, and OLLI, of course, is humboldt.edu/OLLI. and we'll be happy to send you out what Ben sends us. But this was incredibly thorough. So I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank Ben, and I want to let you all know that next week we're going to have a presentation that's April 7th on understanding the civil grand jury. They really need people to volunteer to participate. And as you're considering doing it, you'll learn more about that next Monday, because it's a great group of people who do devote a certain required number of hours per week, but they work over a year and they tackle the community's big problems. But they make selections and make decisions about what they want to tackle, and then they write up their reports. And the county, the cities are required, or requested at least, but generally kind of required to respond to those recommendations. So you'll feel more about that next Monday. So Ben, thank you ever so much. This was a great presentation.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. And then this recording will be available hopefully within the next 24 hours.
So over and out, everybody. You have a great day. Get out there before it starts pouring again.
Yeah, it was
Actually,
hailing too.
starting Wednesday, we're actually going to get 4 days of sun.
Yay.
It's overdue. So take care, everybody.
Take care. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.